Do you know why there's so much confusion and so much erosion of, like, quote unquote traditional values, destruction of like the school system, university system, the destruction of marriages, relationships, hookup culture, all of those things, right? Everybody's looking at these things from the wrong perspective, because everybody thinks that, oh, it's men versus women, women versus men, misogyny, blah blah blah, social justice warriors, blah blah. It's crap. That's ego stuff. The truth of the matter is, the reality is breaking down. Let me say that again. The reality, the construct, the illusion around you is breaking down. Yeah, it's breaking down because either we're growing too big for the stage or the scene or the reality. So it has to completely decompose and then be rebuilt again. Think of it this way. Truman Show lives in a simulated world, yeah? Now imagine Truman, as he's searching to escape, blah, blah, blah. Christoph, yeah? Who was the guy that was running the show from the moon thing, yeah? Now think about this, and this is my theory. I call it the simulation within a simulation. And I've got a video on that, it's really interesting, check it out. And so now Christoph is trying to escape, right? Christoph is not going to get caught napping at the wheel, because you have to understand that Christoph, his whole, by the movie, it's like a business model, right? But in this 3D reality, you have to look at it as, it's not just business, it's its whole purpose. That's the purpose of Christoph being there. The purpose of Christoph being there is running and managing the simulation for Truman. That's his job. Yeah. So as Truman's trying to find a way out and trying to figure out, something's not right, Christoph will be prudent enough to build another dome outside of that dome. So when Truman gets out, he thinks he's free, but he just walks straight into another simulation. Do you understand? And depending on how good they make it, he might just fall for it and think that's actually his now baseline reality. Do you understand? But it's not. And this is why everything's breaking down, because people started asking questions. People started looking at things differently. People started like, So now another reality has to be constructed over this reality. And that's why they're making certain things. I don't want to go into too much detail, but if you look around, you see the signs yourself, right? Like, there are a lot of, they've given humanity a lot of things now, and, trying to essentially push them into another simulation. And that's why they gave people the thing, yeah? I believe that that's part of the reason. I think there's something in there that kind of keeps people at a certain frequency, fear-based frequency, and that's why they needed that because nothing happened. We all know nothing happened anyway. But yeah, the reality is breaking down. The reality is breaking down. People are seeing synchronicities everywhere. People are seeing, all these things. It's not, even people that are not conscious are seeing things in a conscious way, which means that because what you have to understand is this, yeah? It's a collective subconscious. Our minds are interconnected. You see, people say our minds are interconnected, which is bullshit. Because if you actually go deep into the realms of consciousness, you realize that the only reason why people say that, or they feed people this information, is to keep people still at a certain level. All is consciousness, bro. Everything is consciousness, which means that if one person wakes up, yeah, and sees the reality for what it is, and sees its being as consciousness, that reverberates through everything, the oneness of everything. So now that straight away becomes a playable mode for every single person. Do you get it? So the system can't run the risk, yeah, of, it's just one isolated incident. No, they have to now construct. It has to construct a whole overlay. Even more distraction, more this. It's going so hard just to sustain the previous illusion and overlay that with a brand new illusion. That's why I'm telling you, everyone feels like something's about to happen, right? And time's moving crazy fast, right? Because it's going to happen very soon. We're going to transition into another iteration of this simulation. And people are going to walk into it and they'll think, and that's why, people, they play around with the alien thing and the robot thing, because they're going to make life very, very easy for humans, right? Which is the kind of like thing that you do to try and stop them from leveling up consciously. Is one thing they always do. Believe me on this, yeah? If you don't, let me give you a basic example. Think about Truman, yeah? In that situation. So Truman breaks free. And then there's a new simulation. How do you think Truman's life's going to be, bro? How do you think the awakened ones, right, that are pushing this thing, the spearhead of the whole thing, how do you think they're going to get treated in the next iteration, bro? They're going to be treated like gods, bro. Because then it will kind of the weight will pull them down back to a certain frequency, which will make him not even question even more. Because each time the construct has to overlay a new reality, it costs a lot of energy. Guys, believe me on this. I go into the realms a lot. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's happening, bruv. And I know people say, oh, that's not what's really happening. Then you're clearly blind. You don't get it. So just turn off this video and go and watch the Kardashians or something. Like, this is real life. And people that get it know what I'm saying is true. Reality is broken down. Nothing makes sense anymore. Even to children. Shit doesn't make sense to even children. They don't even get it. Like, what? Do you understand? So they're going to give us more of everything. That's the next phase. Oh, more of this, more of this, more of this, more of this, more of this. Free this, free that. Da, 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 da. You know that movie Wall-E, yeah? Wall-E. My son loves it. You know how the humans they're overfed with information. Everything's that's the world that's coming. That's the world that's coming. And there's going to be safety, all of that. Everyone's going to be chilling in their little pods and everything's going to be cool, which would then drown them back to a lower frequency, which will make them easy to manage and energy process can carry on, So, yeah, because you have to realize that it's just like any negotiation. Truman was not going to negotiate. He was going to go, right? So it wasn't like Christoph could sit there and say, hey, you know what? They tried to negotiate. You wouldn't listen. The guy just kept pushing, right? So if you keep elevating and ascending, you're going to break out the simulation anyway. Your natural state, which is you literally will break out of it. It wouldn't work on you anymore. And you can literally control the simulation. Trust me. And they don't want that. That's why you always have to be conscious, man. Because to me, it's like, that's true freedom. Because nobody's free here, man. People are crazy to think they're free. Just because you're allowed to drink, smoke, fuck, go and buy clothes, doesn't mean you're free, bro. Like, there are prisons in the world, in South America and Africa, they go and gamble. They go and fuck. Yeah? They go shopping. They go and play sports. They go to the gym. Yeah? You see the parallels? But they can't leave the prison. They can do everything else, but they can't leave the prison. They can do everything they were doing practically outside. They just can't leave the prison. Do you understand? They can grow veg. They can do yoga. They can fucking meditate. They can do all that shit. But they can't leave the prison. Do you get it? So what happens is the person that is realizing that, nah, this is not enough. I need to get the fuck out of here. I'm going to break out of this wall. Yeah, I'm going to dig. I'm going to do whatever. That person, that energy, that conscious being, right? The prison will have to do everything in its power to stop him. If they realize that he can't be stopped, right? What do you do? What do you do? You give him all he wants. Give him all he wants. So even when he leaves, even say for instance, it's a prison where like once he leaves, you can't stop him. Yeah. So what he might do they might build another area, and then when they catch him, take him there. Or once he breaks out, he's gonna walk straight into another area. They siphon him off, they cut him off from the rest because, you know, the throw of the bad example and all that shit. You understand? And they're gonna give him everything he wants. You bring him back to the prison. It's an energy signature. It's a frequency. He can't leave that frequency. So the only thing he could do is try and change his perspectives. Anyway, that's one for this morning. I'm trying to post as frequently as I can, at least once a day. Just, yeah.